Their products were just taken at a random price by the traders, and the money that was given to the farmers was never sufficient. When I use the word order, that means we are bringing it under some particular condition, under some particular level altogether. They were able to understand the value of milk and the value of the person who is involved in the business. More viable, more transparent, and more accessible to the people. Why? Because government has been thinking on every single step to improve the life of the farmer. Good morning and welcome to the third session of Chapter 6, Rural Development. We were speaking about many concepts of rural development, especially in the areas of credit, agricultural system, the reforms, and the different factors that are governing the rural development. In this session, we are going to talk about the agricultural marketing and the agricultural system in total. So let's move forward and try to see what are the topics that we are going to have a deep dive session today. Now, the first thing that we are going to see here is the agricultural market system. Now, we know that for every product on this earth, you need to have a marketing factor. Now, marketing is the art of selling a product to the consumer. But agriculture, by default, by itself, is the marketable product. You don't have to go and introduce rice or wheat or dal or any kind of agricultural products to the consumer. A consumer is very well known because that is his daily staple food. But in the concept of agricultural market system, we need to understand in India at some point of time, even agriculture needed marketing. It needed a system through which the products could be channelized and could be taken forward. So that is why we brought in a system, or we brought in a process called as the agricultural market system. Now, what is the system all about? The mechanism through which these goods reach different places depends on the market channels. Now, we're going to talk about market channels. For example, Maharashtra in India is known as the place where the largest volume in terms for onion is grown. It's the largest market in India for onion because Maharashtra has got the maximum capacity in terms of growth for onions. But from Maharashtra, if the onions have to reach Jammu and Kashmir, or as far as Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland on the eastern part of India, what channels are we going to apply? How is the marketing going to happen? Why? Because agriculture as a factor, many of them do not know how to market the products, how to open up the channel so that each and every product is made accessible to all the consumers in our country. So what we try to do in agricultural marketing system, the market channel itself needs to be opened up so that the goods move from one state to another. Secondly, we have a process, the agricultural marketing process, that includes assembling, storage, processing, transporting, packaging, every single aspect so that the product is kept intact and it reaches the consumer as fresh as possible. Now, this is a very, very important concept. This is a very, very important factor altogether. Why? Because agricultural marketing is not a topic that has been really realized, that has never been talked about much in the Indian system. The agricultural marketing is a very, very interesting factor. Why? Because it has a potential value not only for the farmers, but for the wholesalers, for the retailers, and for every person who gets involved in that process. So that's why we always say that agricultural marketing requires a great amount of push, a great amount of support that needs to come in from the governmental aspect. Now, prior to the independence, farmers were selling their products to traders and they suffered a lot because they were not able to get the exact value for the products. Their products were just taken at a random price by the traders, and the money that was given to the farmers was never sufficient. So there was not a benchmark, there was not a place at which you could measure the value of your product. Now, for example, the price of rice is let's say 50 rupees per kg. At that point of time, the trading system, what they used to do is that they might just buy the rice for 10 or 20 rupees, where the value is 50 rupees. They used to get only 10 or 20 rupees. So the farmer was always in distress because he was not getting the right value for his product. So this is where we wanted to change the system. We wanted a process. We wanted a system through which the agriculture, the farmers could always get benefited. So that's why we brought in an agricultural marketing system altogether. Now, moving forward, farmers who did not have the required information on prices prevailing in markets were often forced to sell at low price. Now, you need to understand this sentence very clearly. The cost of information in economics, please understand, information is everything. Now, when you have the right information about the product at the right time with the right place, automatically you become the leader of the market. What happens 99% of the time is that we are not able to get the right information. We, in the sense, the farmers. Farmers do not have the right information. They do not know what is the right price, where to sell it, how to package it, how to market it for the Indian background altogether. So at that point of time, the poor farmers are being forced by the traders, are being forced by the market to sell the products at a lower price. So the farmers will not have an option. They will not have a chance where they can go back and tell to the people that this is the price at which they want to sell, because they don't have the real information. They don't have the bargaining power. They don't have the presentation power to put the products into the minds of the consumer. So that is where farmers really get affected in India. Secondly, they also did not have proper storage facilities. Now, this is very, very important. Why? Because agricultural is a seasonal business. You cannot say agriculture is an evergreen business and the same kind of food products will be grown throughout the year. So you need to have storage facilities that can store the food, that can keep the value of the food both in terms of the nutrition and as well as in terms of its freshness altogether. So the farmers in India prior to independence, or even I would like to say during the 1990s, did not have much of storage facilities. So what they were not able to do is that keep it in the inventory and sell it after some time. Now, for example, if you look at like products like pepper, like coffee, you have the facility to store it for some time, and when the value of pepper or coffee goes up automatically, you will be able to sell it at a better price. But to do that, you need to have an inventory in place. You need to have a godown in place where you can go ahead and store it. A storage facility is mandatory in agricultural system. But unfortunately, our poor farmers did not have it, because of which they had to sell the product at the market price. So on that market day, that prevailing price, if it has been on the lower end altogether, they just have to sell it, and they did not having any option to go back and tell whether they can buy it at this price, whether they can sell it at this price. So that's where the farmers were also affected. Next, the state intervention became necessary to regulate the private activities. That is where state government started understanding the plight of the farmers. They wanted to come back and help the farmers. They wanted to tell the farmers that we will bring in a system through which the price will be measured, through which the farmers will be benefited. We will bring in a benchmark. We will bring in a process. We will bring in a card where we can say that the price of rice is equal to 52 rupees kg. Price of wheat will be 40 rupees a kg. We will put in an MSP, the minimum support price altogether. So once you have the support price, the farmer will be getting some benefit out of it, so that nobody comes and pushes the farmer below the MSP. That's the minimum support price altogether. So that's where state intervention became very important for the farmers in terms to help them on the rural development and on the agricultural front altogether. Now, moving forward, the first step that was taken was regulation of markets to create an orderly and a transparent marketing condition. Now, you need to understand these two words called as the orderly. When I use the word order, that means we are bringing it under some particular condition, under some particular level altogether. So the word order itself will mean a lot in terms of the business. And the word called as transparent market conditions. So at any given point of time, please understand that when the market conditions are transparent, when the system is transparent, automatically the people will also feel that they have been given the true value and respect. So there'll be some ethics in the system. So that's why we wanted the system to be transparent, so that everybody who's involved in the system will come to know what is the buying price, what is the selling price altogether. By and large, if you start understanding, this policy actually helped the farmers. It benefited the farmers as well as the consumers. Similarly, now if you start understanding this system, however, we still need to make a large amount of difference. We still need to grow to a very great extent. About 27,000 rural markets today are regularized, and they have places with full of potential market. That's where you would see that India has transformed about 27,000 places where you get a regular market with some system in place, and there is no cheating happening, and the farmer does not have to bend down and give away at throwaway prices. So now that's where you see that the market is now taken a shape by the government, and government starts intervening and telling the people that yes, you need to take it at a particular wavelength, you need to take it at a particular value altogether. Second component is the provision of physical infrastructure facilities like the roads, railways, warehouses, godowns, cold storage processing units. Now that's where we are trying to talk about the processing units, that storage facility. Because moment you start talking about storage facilities and the factors altogether, they actually help in terms of helping the farmer to hold back the inventory and give it at a later stage. So this is very, very important for all of us to understand, for all of us to get on to the point that whenever the farmer wants to hold back his good and then sell it in the market altogether, that's where the provision needs to be given. That's where the storage facility will make a difference altogether. So we started concentrating on transportation, on logistics, and on storage facilities so that people could get the maximum benefit out of it. The farmers could get a benefit out of the entire system. Now, moving forward, the current infrastructure, what we are talking about, say after 2003-4, the current infrastructure facilities are quite inadequate to meet the growing demand. Of course, we have made a lot of progress after 2015 onwards. We are being able to make a rapid stride in terms of agricultural values, and we have been doing it to a great level altogether. Cooperative marketing in realization of fair prices have also started coming, which will help the farmers to realize the potential at a better value. But here we need to understand that somewhere down the lane, we started thinking that whatever we have done in terms of infrastructure, in terms of growth, might not be sufficient for the growing demand. That's why we wanted to create a collaborative market. We wanted to create a collaborative stand through which people will understand, the farmers will be benefited, and we can take it forward. One of the examples of this cooperative marketing or the cooperative thing is none other than our great company, our own Indian company, Amul. Anand Milk Union Limited. That's the full form of Amul. Amul is one of the biggest success stories in cooperative marketing in under agriculture. The dairy farming business, which revolutionized the entire system, is one direct example that we can pick up in terms of the agricultural marketing. That was one of the biggest success story that transformed the landscape of Gujarat. Today, when you look at the success of the milk cooperative transforming the economic landscape of Gujarat, it's none other than Amul. The reason being is that they were able to understand the value of milk and the value of the person who is involved in the business. The milkman and the milk are not two different factors. They are actually of a great value. All they needed is a system that can put in some value, that can gain some return for the output that they are giving. And that's what Amul did. They created a cooperative system through which all the people who are involved in dairy farming can come to a particular place, give over their product, that is the milk, and they would be given a fair price in return. This started as a small cooperative society, and today probably they are one of the best case studies in the world to be read about in terms of cooperative farming. So that is how the economic landscape of a place, of a state, of a village can be transformed through cooperative marketing, through collaborative agricultural system altogether. Like this, we have a lot of cases in agriculture which are transforming the lives of people. But then this is an outstanding example which I would always like to quote upon, because this has made the economic system of India to look in a different angle, in a different manner altogether. Today we also have an institute which focuses only on rural management and development. That is also located in the state of Gujarat. So that is the amount of importance that we are talking about in terms of rural management and development altogether. Now, moving forward. In the agriculture market system, we also wanted to understand where are the lacunas, where are the challenges in terms of for the farmer where he is not able to get it. Now, there are many factors. However, the setbacks, if you start seeing, there are many factors under which we are being able to see that the farmer is not still adequately covered. It's not covered from all the angle altogether. Primarily, we see that there is a link between the marketing and processing cooperative and the inefficient financial management. Of course, today, as we are talking, Government of India is trying to bring in a lot of applications, lot of credit facilities, lot of online credit systems so that the farmers will definitely get benefited. But still, somewhere down the lane, if you start seeing it, way back some 10 years, they did not have that much of exposure towards the finance and credit system. The fourth element in this policy of improving agricultural marketing was assurance of minimum support price, which was done for 24 products in India. Maintenance of buffer stocks, which means we are talking about inventory management, and distribution of food grains and sugar through public distribution system. So you need to understand the emphasis of policy was more towards the minimum support price and towards the storage and distribution of food products. These are some of the essential areas that every single government really needs to look upon in order to make the agriculture system more effective. For a country like India, just imagine where millions of people require food daily. If there is not an efficient system, if there is not an efficient logistics in place that could supply the food grains to the people, imagine the life of people. They will be completely in jeopardy. So that is why at some point of time, we understood that public distribution system will play a vital role in agricultural marketing. We need the food to reach the people on time and every time. So that is why we started laying an emphasis to the public distribution system altogether. Now, moving forward. Despite governmental agencies' intervention and private trade, that is then, you would see that there are a lot of political entities, money lenders and factors who have come inside, and they have been trying to disturb the system. They have been trying to make some sort of confusion in the system that has been making that system, the agriculture market, come down. So, that is one of the things that is predominant, which is available in the market, but we want to remove it completely. We want to make the system as far as possible much more transparent and much more ethical in nature. The quantity of agricultural products handled by the government and its agencies constitutes only 10%, while the rest is still handled by the private sector. In India, if you look at some of the private groups, the large organizations, even in agricultural sector, they try to dominate over 90% of the products because they know that they are the basic raw materials, they are the basic input for the finished goods. So what they typically try to do is that they try to create a monopoly here. They just control most of the goods and they start dominating over the price factor. Because of this, what happens is that the farmer gets affected on one side, and due to the high prices that have been projected onto the retail front, even the consumers are getting affected. The second thing, agriculture marketing has come a long way with the intervention of government. We really need to appreciate Government of India taking a lot of measures in terms of making agricultural system more viable, more transparent, and more accessible to the people. Why? Because government has been thinking on every single step to improve the life of the farmer by providing him the basic necessity, by providing him all the amenities that are needed in order to make the life of a farmer better and the best as far as possible. The rapid commercialization of agriculture in the era of globalization offers tremendous opportunities for value addition, especially in the area of agro-processed industry, in biodiversity factors. There are so many opportunities that are available today. Now, when you go through your television channels or newspaper ads, you might have come across foods like organic foods, naturally processed foods, and all those factors which are now being sold in the market, not in the context of just a retail promotion, but also in the context of health-based products. So agriculture and agro-based products have a great value in our human life. So when you look at agriculture, the commercialization part of agriculture, there's a huge opportunity for every single entrepreneur who can take up this industry and transform it altogether. The same rice which was just marketed as a regular eatable product, moment you start labeling the rice, moment you start packaging the rice with good fancy names, with different kinds of research altogether put behind, the price and the opportunity also starts going up. Similarly, now if you look at tea, the same tea has got different flavors, different blends, and different standards altogether, which again provides an opportunity for huge marketing all across. So somewhere down the line, we find that the marketing opportunity in agriculture is in abundance. Only thing is that for the entrepreneurs today, they need to find a way, they need to make a will in terms of getting into this sector and trying to transform the world altogether. That's where you see the examples of today, bigbasket.com or milkbasket.com, grofers.com. All these people have ventured into agricultural marketing because they know that the value of these products are very high. They could probably look into the long-term chain value that is being derived in agriculture marketing and can deliver far more in terms of growth altogether. So somewhere down the lane, we have kept in our mind the development of rural India and we are working towards it. Now, moving forward. With this, we come to the conclusion for today's session. I hope and believe that the session was educative, informative, and interesting also. In the next class, we would be trying to understand about the various factors that are governing the agricultural marketing system. Until then, stay tuned, stay blessed, and stay enlightened forever. Thank you once again for joining me today.